What if I told you there's a hidden teaching from Jesus so powerful it was erased from history? Because once you hear it, no one will ever be able to control you again? Would you dare to know the truth? What if I told you that there is a single spiritual truth so powerful it could rewrite the entire story of your life? Not in years, not in months, but starting the moment you understand it. Imagine carrying a hidden key your whole life without knowing it was in your pocket. A key that could unlock freedom, health, abundance, and peace all at once. And yet, for thousands of years, this truth was buried, erased, hidden away from the eyes of the world. Someone, somewhere, decided you shouldn't see it. Why? Perhaps because the moment you discover it, no one, not the government, not the media, not even religious institutions, can control you anymore. Once you hold this key, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the architect of your own reality. Capital Brainwave warmly welcomes you, dear friends. Today, we're going to travel far beyond the familiar words you've heard in Sunday school or read in dusty history books. We're going to pull back the curtain on a lost message, one that has the potential to shake you to your core. This is not about believing blindly. This is about discovering something that has been deliberately kept from you, something that once you see, you cannot unsee. Throughout history, remarkable figures, Buddha, Confucius, Krishna, the prophet Abraham, and Jesus of Nazareth, have appeared to guide humanity through darkness and confusion. But here's the shocking part. Not everything they taught survived the filters of politics, power, and organized religion. The Bible you hold today is not the full story. Some of the most liberating words ever spoken by Jesus were stripped away, labeled heresy, and destroyed. They weren't simply misplaced, they were erased. For centuries, the world believed they were gone forever, until, by an almost impossible twist of fate, they were found. In a cave, hidden inside sealed jars, preserved for over 2,000 years, untouched by human hands. Among these ancient scrolls was the Lost Gospel of Thomas, a text many scholars believe contains the purest, most unfiltered record of Jesus' true voice. And within its opening lines lies a teaching that could flip your understanding of life upside down. The question is, why would such a message be removed? And what happens when ordinary people like you and me finally hear it? Stay with me until the end of this video, because once you understand what this verse really means, you may never see your own life the same way again. If you believe knowledge this powerful deserves to be shared, hit the subscribe button now so Capital Brainwave can keep bringing you the kind of videos others are too afraid to make. And now, here's a question for you to ponder, and answer in the comments. If you were offered a truth that could set you completely free, would you A, take it immediately no matter the cost, B, hesitate, afraid of what might change? In the Lost Gospel of Thomas, hidden for centuries and now revealed, there is a line that is as simple as it is world-shattering. If those who lead you say, "The kingdom is in the sky," then the birds will get there before you. If they say it is in the sea, then the fish will get there first. But the kingdom is inside you and outside you. At first glance, it reads like a poetic metaphor, but beneath its surface lies a direct challenge to one of the most deeply ingrained habits of human nature, the habit of looking outside ourselves for the source of truth, safety, and meaning. Jesus' words are a warning, a sharp and deliberate strike against the tendency to surrender our inner authority to someone else. Think about how often we are told where to find happiness, success, health, and even God. Politicians tell us it lies in the outcome of an election. The media tells us it lies in the rise or fall of the economy. Advertisers tell us it lies in the next product, the next purchase, the next upgrade. Even those in positions of moral or spiritual authority can, intentionally or not, lead us to believe that salvation, peace, or fulfillment is something we must chase in distant places or future events. When you accept these voices as the ultimate truth, you begin to live a life designed by other people's fears, biases, and agendas. Jesus cuts straight through that illusion. By saying the kingdom is inside you, he places the seat of power where it has always belonged, within your own being. The kingdom is not a far-off reward reserved for the afterlife. It is a living reality that begins in the thoughts you think, the choices you make, and the beliefs you hold. And yet, he also says it is outside you, Because what you cultivate internally inevitably shapes the world you experience externally. This is not wishful thinking. It is an unbreakable law of life. Your inner condition creates your outer reality, and your outer reality reflects and reinforces your inner condition. If you believe you are powerless, the world will confirm it by showing you situations you cannot control. If you believe you are cursed with bad luck, you will see evidence of it everywhere. But if you believe you are capable, worthy, and connected to something greater than yourself, life will begin to mirror those beliefs back to you in ways that feel almost miraculous. The verse is not asking you to reject all guidance, but to weigh it against the compass inside you. It is an invitation to stop searching endlessly in the sky or the sea for what has been with you from the beginning. The moment you turn inward and recognize that the kingdom is already yours, the world around you will begin to transform. Not because it suddenly changed, but because you finally did. When Jesus said, "The kingdom is within you and outside you," he was revealing a law of existence that echoes through the oldest wisdom traditions on earth. This truth is not confined to religion. It is woven into the very fabric of reality. Thousands of years before his words were spoken, the ancient sage Hermes Trismegistus inscribed a principle on what became known as the Emerald Tablet: as above, so below, as within, so without. These few words capture the same reality Jesus was pointing to, that the inner and outer worlds are not separate realms, but reflections of one another. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs do not remain hidden inside you. They radiate outward, influencing your actions, your decisions, and even the way you perceive the world. Over time, they sculpt the life you live. If your inner world is filled with fear, doubt, and limitation, you will find those same qualities in your relationships, your work, and your circumstances. They will appear not because the world is against you, but because the world is mirroring the energy you carry within. Likewise, when your mind and heart are aligned with gratitude, clarity, and purpose, life begins to respond with opportunities, connections, and experiences that reflect that alignment. This is not mysticism for the sake of mystery. It is an unbroken feedback loop between your inner state and your outer reality. The challenge is that most people attempt to change their lives from the outside in. They try to fix circumstances while ignoring the beliefs that created them. They change jobs but carry the same self-doubt into the next one. They end one relationship only to repeat the same patterns in another. The surface changes, but the underlying blueprint remains untouched. The deeper path is to reverse the process, to begin with the within. By shifting your internal narrative, you change the lens through which you interpret and respond to the world. This shift may not instantly alter every detail of your life, but it changes the way you interact with it, and that change sets new outcomes in motion. What once seemed fixed begins to move. What once felt impossible starts to open. When Jesus connected within and without in a single breath, he was describing a unity that modern science is only now beginning to confirm through studies of perception, consciousness, and quantum reality. The truth is simple but profound. The kingdom is not somewhere you escape to. It is something you carry and project. Transform what is within you, and you will find the world itself transformed in ways that feel less like coincidence and more like destiny unfolding. In the Lost Gospel of Thomas, there is a line that pierces straight to the core of human existence. When you know yourself, you will be known, and you will realize you are children of the living Father. But if you do not know yourself, you will live in poverty, and you will be poverty. These are not gentle words meant to comfort the complacent. They are a direct confrontation with the truth of how life unfolds. To know yourself is not about knowing your name, your profession, or the labels society gives you. It is about awakening to the reality of who you truly are, a being endowed with creative power, born from the same source that gave birth to the universe itself. When you do not know this truth, you move through life like a shadow, reacting instead of creating, surviving instead of living. Poverty in this context is not only the lack of money, it is the poverty of spirit, of vision, of health, of love. It is the dull ache of feeling powerless in a world that seems determined to decide your fate for you. And yet, the moment you see yourself as a child of the living Father, something changes. You understand that being made in the image of God is not a poetic flourish. It is a declaration of your nature. You are not here to simply endure the passing of days. You are here to shape them. Self-knowledge is the foundation for every form of abundance. Without it, you may chase success, but even if you find it, you will not be able to keep it, because the inner beliefs that created scarcity will still be in control. With it, you can lose everything and still rebuild, because the source of your wealth is not external. It flows from within you. This is why people who understand themselves deeply can walk through storms and still find their way to calm seas, while others, with every advantage, can still feel lost. Knowing yourself means more than identifying strengths and weaknesses. It means facing the parts of you that are afraid, insecure, or doubtful, and realizing that they do not define you. It means seeing that your thoughts are not random, but seeds, and that every belief you hold is either growing a garden or a wasteland. Jesus' warning is clear. If you remain a stranger to yourself, the poverty you feel will not just visit you, it will live in you. But when you awaken to who you truly are, the world begins to treat you as if it recognizes that truth too. Doors open, resources flow, relationships heal, and challenges become pathways. Because the moment you know yourself, you no longer walk through life as a victim of circumstance. You walk as a creator in the image of the Creator. A truth like this was never meant to sit on the page as an idea to admire from a distance. It is meant to be lived, tested, proven in the fires of your own daily experience. The Lost Gospel of Thomas does not invite blind faith. It dares you to put the words into action and witness the transformation yourself. The kingdom within you is not a poetic metaphor to contemplate on quiet afternoons. It is the power that shapes every decision you make, every relationship you enter, every challenge you face. But it will remain dormant if you do not engage with it. The first step is awareness, noticing when you hand your authority to something outside of yourself. How often do you let headlines dictate your mood? How often do you let someone else's opinion decide whether you feel worthy or capable? How many times have you accepted a limitation because that's just how things are? These moments seem small, but they are the very points at which you choose between living as the creator of your life or the creation of someone else's narrative. Taking back your authority does not mean rejecting all guidance or ignoring the world. It means filtering everything through the compass of your own inner knowing. It means recognizing that external conditions are not the ultimate source of your success, health, or peace. They are mirrors reflecting the state of your inner world. When you change that inner world with intention, those reflections will begin to shift. This is not wishful thinking. It is cause and effect. But there is more. Applying this truth requires courage because it will challenge habits you have lived with for years. You will find yourself pausing before reacting. You will begin to see fear as a signal to look inward, not outward. You will measure success not by applause or approval, but by the alignment between your actions and your deepest convictions. And over time, the changes will become visible. Opportunities appear that once seemed out of reach, relationships deepen, your health improves, and your sense of purpose becomes unshakable. This is how the victim becomes the creator. Not through sudden miracles, but through the steady reclaiming of power, choice by choice, thought by thought. And as more people live from this truth, the world itself begins to shift. Because when individuals stop living in fear, they stop feeding the systems built on fear. The verse from the Lost Gospel is more than ancient wisdom. It is a map back to yourself. Follow it, and you will not just survive this life, you will thrive, shaping it from the inside out, carrying the kingdom with you wherever you go. When we piece together the threads from the Lost Gospel of Thomas, a clear and unshakable truth emerges. The power to create, to heal, to transform, and to live abundantly has never been outside of you. It has always been within. The verse about the kingdom being inside you and outside you is not simply ancient poetry. It is a blueprint for life. It dismantles the illusion that your destiny is decided by forces beyond your reach. Instead, it places the responsibility and the privilege directly in your hands. The inner and outer worlds are reflections of one another. What you think, feel, and believe will shape the experiences you encounter, and those experiences will, in turn, reinforce your inner state. Break the cycle of fear and limitation within, and the world around you will begin to mirror that freedom back to you. This teaching goes even deeper when paired with Jesus' call to know yourself. It is not a suggestion to merely identify your likes and dislikes. It is a challenge to strip away the layers of conditioning, fear, and self-doubt until you see your true nature, a creator made in the image of the Creator. Without that recognition, life becomes a series of reactions to external events, a constant battle to survive. With it, life becomes a canvas where you paint deliberately, knowing you hold the brush. The beauty of this truth is that it is timeless and universally applicable. You don't need to be a scholar, a monk, or a mystic to live it. You only need the willingness to turn inward and take ownership of your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Every moment offers a choice: to be the architect of your reality or the product of someone else's design. Even the smallest shift in perspective can set in motion a chain of changes that reshape your health, relationships, finances, and sense of purpose. The lesson is profound yet simple. You are not here to wait for salvation to arrive from the sky or the sea. You carry it within you. The kingdom is not a destination. It is a state of being that you activate through conscious thought, intentional action, and alignment with your deepest truth. How to apply it today? Begin by becoming aware of your inner dialogue. Notice when fear, doubt, or negativity colors your thinking. Ask yourself, is this belief creating the life I want? If the answer is no, choose a new thought, one that aligns with the reality you wish to live. Surround yourself with influences that strengthen your inner world. Take responsibility for your reactions. Remember, every external shift begins with an internal decision. Now, a question for you. If the kingdom is truly within you, do you believe you have the power to change your life, starting today? Please share your answer in the comments so we can all learn from each other's perspectives. And if this message has inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support is what fuels us to keep creating more content that matters.